Hello, my name is Laura, and we're going to be doing a quick drill for our hamstrings. Now, in yoga, we tend to do a lot of stretching. We tend to look at the hamstrings in more of a flexible realm. I guess it's that whole idea of maybe touching the toes or getting into some of these deeper forward folds or maybe splits or such, but stronger tissues hold flexibility longer. So we're going to work on focus that idea on strong hamstrings that will later on take and hold the stretch a little bit better. I'm going to suggest you have two blocks, two books, two maybe heavier, stable, somewhat rectangular type options can work really nicely. If you don't have them, then you're just going to use some of your imagination for some of this as well, so it's okay if you don't have any props. I want us to get started into tabletop back and work just a little bit of cat-cow movement. So just kind of warming up. One of the issues, one of those common dysfunctions that has happened in the vinyasa world is overstretching, and sometimes overstretching just because we're overstretching or overusing, but then sometimes because our posterior, our back chain is a little bit on the weaker side. So one of the common problems is some form of tear happening at the attachment site of the hamstrings underneath the glutes. It actually has a term called yoga butt now because it's unfortunately so common. So we want to make sure we really strengthen that area. So as we work flexibility, our tension system is really strong. So first one is going to be super simple. I'm going to come into hands and knees tabletop back with the structure. And I'm going to have my right toes tucked under so I get that pelvic lift. I'm going to take my left toes back. Then I'm going to lift my left leg up, draw through the ribs. Then I'm simply going to bring the left toes down, and I'm going to lift them up. And I don't want you to worry about how high they lift. In fact, as you start to lift, if you feel the hip peeling open, that's totally bypassing those hamstrings. So really rotate the toes down and work within the movement spectrum that keeps you able to square off the hips. So a couple more times. Good. Take it up. Hold. So my left ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine, frontal hip bones turning down. Belly's drawing in, and my toes are turned down. I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. And I can definitely tell you I'm starting to fatigue, even though it looks fairly simple. Then I'll take another breath, and then bring the left knee down. I'm already feeling very different side to side. So I'm going to spin around. And you'll take your right toes back. So lift up and draw through the ribs. So that's going to keep us from arching and laying into the abdominal region. So we'll just start with those little taps. Lift it up and lower it down. And lift it back up. Little small movements. Small and mighty, you could say. So with us moving this slowly and just very precisely, we can tell if we start to lay open, roll open. Okay, 3 more times. Lift it up and give it a tap. 2 more times. Lift it up. Good. Lower it down. Good. Tap it up. And we'll hold. And we'll hold, we'll hold, we'll hold. Did I say we'll hold? Good. Bring it back down. And then shift a little bit side to side. Okay, now we're going to add a block. So if you start to feel that your hamstrings are cramping, you may need to back out completely or see if you can just take a little less of the hugging of the block in. So we'll come back to that all fours tabletop back, and I'm going to squeeze the block here. Now I'm going to try not to let my left knee go out to the side because it really wants to. And why? Because it takes it out of that effort. Makes it easier. And I'm going to take my left toes up, and then I'm going to drop the knee, squeezing the block. Then I'm going to do that a few more times. Lift it up, and then lower it down. Then I'm going to lift it up, And lower down. Oh. 2 more. You might be lucky and have those huge, heavy props, those blocks that weigh like a ton. Hold, hold, hold. And then maybe lift your right knee. Good. 3 more breaths. Squeeze. Lift, up, 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 up. 2 more breaths. That was obnoxious. Lower the knee down. And then bring your block down. Switch sides. Switch sides. All right. So I'm going to take the block and bring it in between my calf and my right hamstrings. And then I'm going to come into this variation. So try not to let the right knee open. Turn it down. And then drop your knee. And then lift it up. And then drop it down. And lift it up. So again, there's other things that work here. We can't isolate just one muscle group. There are synergists, helpers, but the focus is on our hamstrings. There's 3 of them. Good, a couple more times. So the 3 hamstrings. Good, then lift it up, stay there, and maybe lift the left knee up a little bit. Oh, I can lift a little higher. I'm flirting with cramping, but 2 more breaths, not quite. Awesome, 1 more breath. Lower the knee down, lower your block down. And then take a couple of moments. Whew. Now, we're going to take our block and come into a standing pose. And it's going to be that let's not lose the block party. So I'm going to show you from, I'm going to have 1 block down just because I want us to have height here. I want us to be able to stay lifted. I know many of you could have the hand down, roll the hip open, and feel completely satisfied, but I want you to keep your right hand down onto the block. I'm going to do it on the second setting just to get some extension. I'm going to take my block and my left knee behind me. Okay, so maybe a little imbalance in my upper body while I start to take the block into my left hamstrings. And then I'm going to roll my hip open and come into Ardha Chandrasana. I'm going to hold it here. And I'm going to bring it back. So it's like Ardha Chandra sugar cane without the bind. Then I'm going to lift out of my right hip, lift up. So I'm not rolling into the head of the femoral head of the hip, but I'm rolling around it. And I'm going to turn the block back down. I'm going to squeeze the block in. Woo! And then exhale, drop it down. So what's really important here is as we're coming from half moon back to that kind of airplane, I want to make sure that you're not laying in that hip joint, that you're not rolling, but there's a lift, that you're really lifting out. And that's why I want you to use the block. So I'm not going to lay in the head of the femur. We're going to lift up and around. Okay? So I'm going to take the block left side down, and then I'm going to draw the block into my right hip, or hamstrings, excuse me. And then I'm going to start by drawing it up, so I'm kind of in that airplane, Digasana, and then I'm going to roll it open. Woo! And I'm going to take it up. High. So now you're seeing the frontal view. Woo, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take another breath. Then again, lift up, over, roll, not in the hip joint, not laying in it, but over it. And then, oh, where's the block? Oh, there you go. Drop the block, flop the block, set it down. Good. Now stand slowly all the way up. Take a couple moments, maybe shake things out. And now we're just going to work on coming into Natarajasana, hands-free, or dancer's pose. If you want to do up overhead, imagine you're going to catch the foot king dancer, that's fine. Otherwise, arms by your side. So you're going to shift the weight into your left foot, and then you're going to draw, I'll show you from the back, your right heel in. So I'm going to show you, I don't want the knee to go out to the side, I want it to drop in. And then send your chest forward as you start to take your left toes up and back. Awesome. So one of the things that those hamstrings have in common as hip extensors, right? When we extend the hip, that's when we get to come into a lot of those big back bends. Okay, so arms can be up or by your side. Take 3 more breaths. Try not to left knee out. Try and drop it. 2 more breaths, right? Tussle that back of your head. 1 more breath. Awesome. Stand up tall. Let's do the other side. So you're going to step into the other foot. Your left foot's going to come down, and then bring the toes up towards you. Make sure the knee doesn't sickle out, but that it's drawing in. Then as you start to lean forward, take the toes up. So stay out of the back if you're feeling most of the sensation, or work into the spinal column. So working those hamstrings. Okay, and you can even look from the side. If the knee starts to go out, or you feel it going out, just kind of think drop. Take a couple more breaths. That one's really hard. Good, 1 more breath. And then release it out. Okay, 1 more nice, simple, and challenging pose. You're going to use your wall. So you're going to take your blocks in front of you, or your props. Then you're going to take your left foot onto the wall and walk your right foot in. Here, I'll mirror you. And I'm going to turn all of my frontal hip bones downward. And I'm going to push. You're going to push your left foot into the wall. Okay, really left foot into the wall. Try not to let the toes sickle out of the hip. In fact, look down and see all 5 toes of your left foot going straight down. You might stay here, or begin to bend your right knee softly and come on up. Keep pushing into your back foot. 3 breaths. Take an inhale. Exhale. 2 more. So the attachment side on the right side of your glutes and hamstrings should be like, hello. And then bring your hands down, switch. Left foot down, right foot up. Turn the toes down. Frontal hips turn down. Happy hamstrings. So it might be debatable. So push into your right foot. Push down to your left, maybe come on up. 3 breaths. I'm a terrible actress. Like, this is hard. Can't be like, what are you doing? This is easy, right? Good, 1 more breath. That toe wants to open up, but I'm going to keep them squared down. And I'm going to bring myself back down. And then allow yourself to just sit back, either in Virasana or Vajrasana, Thunderbolt or Hero's Pose. And then just take a few moments. Take a few moments, settle in. Thank your hamstrings. I thank you for joining me. Have a great day.